There's another job opportunity in the Trump administration, one of many that has come up lately. This morning, Trump tweeted that Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke will leave by the end of the year, and there's still a search going on for the second most important job in the White House, Chief of Staff. The CBC's Stephen D'Souza is in New York with more. So, Stephen, what can you tell us about this departure?
Well, it's interesting. Ryan Zinke's departure has been seen as a long time coming. He, as Secretary of the Interior, was in charge of all of the land use in the United States national parks and was seen and criticized by environmental groups as being the point person for Donald Trump's energy policy, so opening up a lot of public lands to oil and gas exploration. But what really was a cloud over him, and what the Washington Post is reporting why the administration wanted him to step down for weeks now, was a number of ethics investigations that he was facing. He was facing questions about his air travel, taking chartered airlines, as well as travel for his wife through the Secretary of the Interior, as well as also a land deal happening in his own hometown. So a lot of questions around ethics. And so Ryan Zinke will no longer be the Secretary of Interior. The search now on for a replacement. And the timing is also important because if you think about the fact that Democrats are going to be taking over the House of Representatives, so all of these investigations that were going on into Ryan Zinke could have been even more pointed with Democrats having a lot of subpoena power taking control of the House. And so as Donald Trump enters his third year, Natasha, looking to stave off some future scandals, and this is one he can check off the list.
Okay, well, let's talk about the position for Chief of Staff. Where do things stand there?
Well, it's interesting, it was this time last week that Donald Trump announced that John Kelly would no longer be the Chief of Staff and that there would be a replacement. And so we thought at the time that Nick Ayers, who was Mike Pence, the Vice President's top man, that he would take over the job, but he turned it down shortly after, citing personal reasons. And so suddenly a job that is one of the most coveted in Washington seemed like it was up for grabs and that no one really wanted it. And so the president then offered it to Chris Christie, the former New Jersey governor and also presidential rival to Trump. But Chris Christie, he as well turned it down yesterday. And so in a bit of a surprise move, Mick Mulvaney, the budget chief, he happened to be at the White House for a meeting and reportedly was offered the job sort of on the spot, even though he was among the names being considered. And so he's being named as an acting chief of staff. We're not clear what that means in terms of whether or not there is still a search on for a more permanent replacement. But all of these job changes has a number of people worried about just the stability of the government and what this means for the American people. Take a listen to this Democratic congressman.
You have an administration that doesn't seem to be able to hold on to good people. General Kelly, 40-year general, Marine, whose son made the ultimate sacrifice to this country. I can't think of a more committed individual to this country than General Kelly, yet we're losing him as well. This is not good. It's not good for the country to have this kind of instability in our federal government.
3 chiefs of staff now for the president in his time as well. 4 cabinet secretaries leaving in the space of less than 2 years. So for a president who said he wanted to have the best people, not quite playing out at the White House and in his administration so far.